You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 194.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that might be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report. We thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Today is March 4th, 2025. It's a Tuesday, and it's sectional day, and it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. I love Central Indiana sports. I am coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up on today's daily report, it was a very slow Monday, but we do have a little bit for you, including the Crossroads League Men's Basketball Championship. And we have a very busy Tuesday ahead. We will give you all the highlights coming up. Before we get to that, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. We are easy to find. We're going to start doing lots of cool stuff there, so please go subscribe. Earlier on Tuesday, we released our boys basketball local sectional preview. We heard from lots of coaches. We also released our postseason previews, our postseason team previews for Madison Grant, Hamilton Heights, Western, LaPel, Blackford, and Oak Hill. We'll also have sectional scoreboards on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday with scores from all across the state and details on our local sectionals at Kokomo, Muncie Central, Belmont, Logansport, Newcastle, Wabash, Frankton, Blackford, Southwood, and Purdue Broad Ripple. We'll also have lots of IU, Purdue, Pacers, and IndyCar talk, and we have our first Colts report with Eli Edwards coming up on Wednesday morning. Eli is a student at Ball State, a former Eastern quarterback star, now a defensive tackle for the Cardinals. And he is going into sports broadcasting, and we thought we'd make a good team together. He's going to be talking some Colts for us. We got Mike Rich covering the Pacers. We've got Grant Schaus covering IU. We've got Eli now covering the Colts and Dave Chanley doing IndyCar. Still looking for a Purdue guy, but we're starting to pick up some steam. If you are interested in helping out the Central Indiana Sports Report, my phone number is 502-533-3161. Just send me a text and let me know you'd be interested in contributing. Number 7 Grace won its 4th consecutive Crossroads League title, beating 14th ranked Huntington 80-72 Monday night in Winona Lake. Huntington led 54-49 with 13 minutes left following Maximus Jeezy's jumper, and still led 63-62 with 6:15 left following Lane Sparks' free throw. With 5:54 left, Brett Sycophus, a Whitco grad, made a layup, and the Lancers never trailed again. Sycophus's basket started a 16-5 game-changing run. Grace outscored the Foresters 45-32 in the second half after trailing 40-35 at the break. Senior Ian Scott led Grace with 20 points, and sophomore Grace Sefton and sophomore Ian Rash scored 17 points apiece. Sparks led all scorers with 29. Grace is 24-5 and Huntington 22-7 heading into the NAIA National Tournament, which begins March 14th. Both teams should be in that one. On Tuesday evening, the 4th-ranked Indiana Wesleyan women host Marion for the Crossroads League Championship. That game is scheduled for 7 p.m. in Marion. Senior and Western grad Sadie Harding homered in the top of the first. Indiana Wesleyan added a run in the first inning, and junior Jordan Ball threw a 5-hit shutout in the Wildcats' 2-0 win over St. Thomas in Melbourne, Florida on Monday. Indiana Wesleyan is now 3-1. Anderson women's lacrosse team took a 14-4 loss to Adrian, Michigan in its season and home opener on Monday at Markel Stadium. Freshman Sarah Wiest had a pair of goals for the Ravens. And the Indiana Mad Ants improved to 15-10 with a 122-112 win over the Raptors 905 in Miami. Enrique Freeman scored 30, Quentin Jackson scored 28, and Ray J. Dennis had a double-double in the win. The Ants are now third in the East and only a game behind East leading Capital City, and plays Long Island Tuesday at 12:30, still in Miami. We look ahead to a very busy Tuesday. We have lots of sectionals beginning all over Indiana on Tuesday, locally at Frankton, Blackford, Muncie Central, Southwood, Wabash, Newcastle, Belmont, Logansport, and Purdue Broad Ripple. We have 3 sectionals in the 2A, and they all start with 2 games on Tuesday. At Frankton, it'll be 16-6 Tipton against 16-7 Taylor. Then the host Eagles, who have won 11 games in a row, face rival Elwood, which is 5-18. Good one to start the sectional at Blackford. It's number 1 and defending semi-state champion Wapahani, opening their sectional run against 14-8 Eastbrook, which has won 8 of its last 9. Then 10-12 Madison Grant faces a 2-20 Burris team that they beat by 24 points just about 10 days ago. And at Wabash, it's 10-12 Eastern against 16-5 Rochester, followed by 5-17 Lewis Cass against winless Wabash. In Class A at Broad Ripple, defending champion Liberty Christian takes on 5-14 MTI Knowledge in the second quarterfinal. At Southwood, the host Knights face 9-13 Northfield, and 7-14 Cowan goes against 8-14 North Miami in a wide open sectional. There are also 2 games in the 4A sectional at the Muncie Fieldhouse Tuesday. Number 15 Mount Vernon takes on 7-14 Richmond. Then Braylon Mullins and the second-ranked Greenfield Central Cougars face 9-14 Pendleton Heights. At the 3A sectional at Belmont, both Marion and Mississinawa are in action. 9-13 Mississinawa opens the sectional against 11-11 Norwell. That should be a good one, followed by 11-11 Marion against 5-18 Belmont. And at Newcastle, it's 6-16 Yorktown against 13-9 Jay County, followed by 14-8 Hamilton Heights and 9-14 Connorsville. The only game Tuesday at Logansport is 10-12 Peru against 14-9 Twin Lakes. Should be a good one to start that sectional. The Kokomo sectional begins Friday. The 16-7 Wildcats take on 13-8 McCutcheon in the second semifinal. The quarterfinal round continues Wednesday with a handful of Class A games, including a huge one at Clinton Central. Class 4A, number 4 Clinton Prairie against number 10 Carroll in the second game Wednesday at Clinton Central. At Southwood, it'll be 9-13 Tri-Central against 6-15 Daleville. Also, 18-5 Anderson Prep should get its first postseason win ever. The Jets face 1-21 Indiana Def, a team they beat 85-27 a couple of weeks ago. We will have our Anderson Prep postseason preview coming up first thing Wednesday morning, if all goes according to plan. It's also a big night in college and professional basketball in Central Indiana. The 34-25 Pacers host the 37-24 Rockets. Houston comes into the game 5th in the West. Nice, young, talented team, but they are 5-10 in their last 15 games. The Pacers are tied in the 4th in the East with Milwaukee. They are 18-7 in their last 25. Houston dropped a 137-128 decision at Oklahoma City on Monday night. That game starts at 7. Also at 7 on the Peacock app, 14-15 Rutgers is at number 20 Purdue. Purdue is 20-9 and needs a win desperately to help its NCAA tournament resume. They're looking to become a top 4 seed. And IU, which is 9-9 in the Big Ten, takes on Oregon, which is 10-8. IU has won 3 games in a row, all by double figures. Oregon has won 5 in a row, including at Wisconsin last Saturday. Big game for the Hoosiers if they can get this one. That they are definitely in the NCAA tournament. The game is at 9 o'clock on Fox Sports 1. And Central Michigan goes to Ball State for a 7 o'clock game. That can be seen on ESPN+. In college baseball, 6-6 Indiana is at home against 5-5 Northern Kentucky at 4 o'clock. And 6-5 Ball State goes to Tallahassee to face 4-7 Florida A&M for 2 games Tuesday and Wednesday. And Purdue's baseball team is 11-1 and goes to Terre Haute to take on 5-6 Indiana State on Tuesday. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. If you are interested in seeing us grow and thrive and continue as a podcast, please do us a huge favor and tell your friends about the Central Indiana Sports Report. We thank you. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.